When it comes to opening a new restaurant or hotel, a successful launch isn't about luck. It's all about meticulous planning. Today, we are going to break down the single most important tool you'll ever use for a food and beverage opening, the Master Critical Path Timeline. You know, getting this right is the real difference between a smooth, successful opening day and a debut that's just, well, chaotic and expensive.
Hello and welcome. As you see on the screen, I'm a hotel AI expert, and my focus is really on modern hospitality operations and performance support. I'm so pleased to welcome all of you, the students of Yura Hotel School, to your online learning journey.
You know, this whole program is specifically designed for you, hospitality students and up-and-coming professionals who are looking for practical knowledge that you can actually use. We're talking about stuff that's directly aligned with how real hotels operate day in and day out. We really look forward to supporting your professional growth in this amazing industry.
Okay, so here's a quick look at what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about just how high stakes a hotel opening can be. Then we'll get into your project's master key. After that, we'll walk through the 4 critical phases of the journey, talk about how to execute with precision, and wrap up with why this is such a core skill for any leader.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the high-stakes hotel opening. We have to start here because you really need to understand what's on the line when planning falls short.
This quote really says it all, doesn't it? Costly delays, we're not just talking about a little extra money. We're talking about massive budget overruns, postponed revenue, and a payroll that's just burning cash. And a compromised guest experience on day one, that can create a bad reputation that's almost impossible to shake. So how do you avoid all that chaos? Well, that brings us to Section 2, your project's master key. The answer is a time-tested project management discipline called the Critical Path Method.
So the Critical Path Method, or CPM, think of it as your project's ultimate roadmap. Now, this is not just some fancy to-do list. What it does is identify the absolute longest chain of tasks that are all dependent on each other. It's like a line of dominoes. If even one of those dominoes in that specific chain is late, your entire opening date gets pushed back. So your number one job is to find that chain and protect it with everything you've got.
And here are some perfect real-world examples from an F&B opening. Think about it. You can't order that fancy imported oven until the kitchen design is 100% locked in. That oven might take months to arrive. And your liquor license? That's a huge one. It's a non-negotiable step that can take forever. And of course, you can't train your staff until you've actually recruited them. See? Each one is a high-risk domino that can seriously jeopardize the entire project.
Okay, Section 3, the 4 critical phases. So we've got this concept of a critical path. But what does it actually look like over the course of a project? Well, we can map a typical 12-month pre-opening journey into 4 clear, manageable phases.
So here's the entire journey laid out for you. Phase 1, way out at 12 to 8 months out, is all about the big ideas, the concept, the design, the blueprint. Then Phase 2, from 8 down to 4 months out, is when you hit go. You start buying things and recruiting your key people. Phase 3, from 4 months down to the final month, is when it all gets real. Equipment gets installed and the team starts training. And then, that last month, Phase 4, that's commissioning, final touches, and a flawless launch.
And here's a super important rule of the game. A phase is not done until there's a formal, mandatory sign-off. This isn't just about ticking a box. A milestone like Final Kitchen BIM drawings approved is a commitment. It stops people from going back and making changes that will cost you a ton of time and money down the road. It forces decisions, and it keeps things moving forward.
Moving on to Section 4, executing with precision. Okay, so having a map is one thing, but actually navigating with it day to day, that's a whole different challenge. This part is all about the discipline you need to stay on that path.
Let's be crystal clear. Ambiguity is your enemy. Every single task on that critical path needs 2 things. First, a single person who owns it, one name. And second, a hard deadline, no wiggle room. Just look at this chart. We know exactly who's on the hook for the liquor license, who's responsible for the back-of-house systems, and when it all has to be done. No confusion.
So how do you make sure everyone's hitting those deadlines? With regular, disciplined meetings. But listen, these are not your typical status updates where people talk about what they did last week. No, the only thing you talk about is the critical path. You're looking 4 to 6 weeks into the future, actively hunting for problems before they happen. It's all about clearing your road ahead.
But hey, let's be real for a second. Even with the best plan in the world, things happen, right? A supplier is late, and approval gets stuck. So what do you do when one of those critical dominoes starts to wobble?
The response has to be immediate. Step 1, you spot the slip early. That's what those weekly meetings are for. Step 2, the leadership team huddles up immediately and figures out a mitigation strategy, a plan B. And step 3, you execute that plan with one goal, and one goal only: recover the lost time and get back on schedule. This is about proactive problem solving, not just reacting in a panic.
And this brings us to section 5, our final and I think most important point. Mastering this timeline, it isn't just a management task, it's a fundamental leadership skill.
There is a reason this kind of discipline is a cornerstone of your curriculum. It's because it transforms you from just a day-to-day manager into a true project leader. It gives you the skills to deliver these huge, complex, multi-million-dollar projects on time and on budget. And that, right there, is a true hallmark of an industry leader.
So, if you only take one thing away from our discussion today, let it be this. The Master Critical Path is not a document you create once, print out, and stick in a folder. No way. It is the single most important living document for the entire project. It's the heartbeat of the pre-opening. It guides every decision, it sets the pace, and it is the absolute framework for your success.
And so I'll leave you with this final thought. When it's your turn, when you're the one leading a new opening, is your timeline going to be a clear, reliable map that guides your whole team to success? Or is it just going to be a stressful countdown to chaos? The discipline you build around that timeline, that's what will decide the answer.